Hello, Carrie Robertson here with your Words Create Your World podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about changing the direction of your life, moving from a place of desiring success, moving to a place of significance. See, often I see that people are absolutely chasing success and it's at all cost. And so I want you to think about operating from a place of, I want to make a significant difference in the world. I want to make an impact. Do we want to make money? Yes. Why? Because money is our economy. There's not no such thing as you can survive without money. You can't. It takes money to eat. It takes money to live. It takes money to put a roof over your head, to put lights on, to be able to get online, to do all the things that our world revolves around. It takes money. So, often I hear people say, oh, I don't want to make money, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And that's because they have the wrong belief about money. See, they get hung up on terms like money is the root of all evil. and so, really they take things out of context and therefore they don't want to make money. They view money as a bad thing. But I'm going to tell you today that to be significant in this world, honestly, you're going to need some money. Because here's what happens. You need money to be able to serve other people. You need money to be able to travel to other places to serve other people. You need money to move mountains in the kingdom of God. You need money for a lot of things. And so I never want to hear a person say, oh, I'm not interested in making money. And people will tell you. And when they tell me that, I simply say, what a selfish way to live your life. If you just have enough, I believe you are the most selfish person in the world because you're not thinking bigger than you. You're not thinking, God, how can I be the answer to someone's problems? How can I be the solution? And so I just want to encourage you to have a different opinion about money in general, because I think that whenever you start to really understand things, you will too change your perspective and there's an all out shift that takes place. And now it's no longer that you're chasing money. See, what happens is people spend their life chasing money when they don't have any. See, because you're worried about how to pay the bills. You're worried about how you're going to put food on your table. You've got to hustle. You've got to grind. You've got to go get a job where they give you just enough money to keep you there, but you're really not fulfilled. You're not answering the calling on your life. And listen, friends, I believe the most important thing that you can do is understand we each have a calling. We each have an assignment, because otherwise, why are we here? We don't need to just occupy space and take up air. And let's be real. At any point, God could have taken any one of us home. He put us on earth with an earthly assignment to build his kingdom. But too many times people get all caught up in, I've just got to make it in life. I got to make it in life. And so when you don't have enough, you spend all your time, energy, and effort getting money. So I really hope you can start to shift your thinking about it, because I want to tell you about how to operate from a place of significance, because that's truly when, honestly, when you can start to really see that God created this whole world, his kingdom, right? And he brought us here and he said, I've laid down my life so that you could live more abundantly. Now, I don't know about you, but abundantly means more than enough in all things. His word says in all things. So I hope that you really start to let this all sink in, because when you begin to operate from a place of, I want to be significant, I want to make an impact on the world. I want to be able to do things that are above and beyond just taking care of my home, my four walls, my bills, all of that. And now you can really start to see things move in a different level. I'm just telling you. So let's talk about a couple of things as we dive into this subject. One, I talk about really the books you read, the places you go, and the people you meet. That's what changes your life. And so oftentimes people say, Carrie, do I really have to read? Well, behind me, these two stacks of books are just the books I've read this year. And there's actually missing books because my son took 3 home with him a couple of days ago, and I've loaned out a few to friends. But this right here, I'm reading probably about 6 books a month on average. I'm just telling you, like I devour books. Why? Because books give us millions of dollars of information. Like you can read what other people have done in their life to be successful. It can be just one line out of a book that literally resonates with you, and it can be the line that you change. But if you're not reading a book, I mean, you're not getting all of their knowledge, all of that wisdom and understanding. And so I want to encourage you to start reading. See, many, many years ago, I heard readers are leaders and leaders are readers. And the man who won't read a book is no better than the man who can't read a book. And so I immediately just changed my mindset because I was like many people, like, I don't want to read books. I'm out of school. And then I began to read. And I have thousands of books. I have a full library of books. And like I said, these are just the books I've read this year, along with others. And I tell you, like, every day I strive to learn, I strive to grow in who I am. And my message grows stronger and stronger. But beyond those books right there, I got to tell you the truth. If it wasn't for this book, the Bible, well, this is the book that comes first. So every single day you should read this book. And then when you have time, you sit down and you read other books. But let me tell you about this book because I believe with all of my heart, this is the number one leadership book in all of the world. It's exciting, number one. Like people are like, I'm confused or I don't know. And I'm like, okay, open your heart and your mind. I mean, it's pretty incredible what you read in here, the stories of what's happened. But let me tell you, this book is the instruction manual for life. And my heart, my opinion is so strong on people say, well, my child didn't come with a manual. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Well, my marriage didn't come with a rule book. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Well, I don't really know anything about finances because it didn't. Look, there's over 2,000 scriptures on finances alone. Oh, it's in the book, right? Like God was incredibly concerned about our finances. So when people tell me it's holy to be poor and broke and live in poverty, that's not what the book says. So I've got to tell you that as you really start to dive into this book, I just say, ask for understanding. And listen, I would tell this to the person who says I'm not a believer. That's okay, read the book. It is the number one leadership book of all times. That's how it's categorized. So I'm not sure what your faith is or what you believe, but read the book. Read the book. You're going to get something from it. And the reality is that, when people say, well, it's not about money, go back to Genesis. Go back to the beginning. Go back to when it was just Adam and Eve in the garden. And then continue to read Genesis where he said, gold. They didn't need money. I mean, they had everything. They had everything. It was an abundance. It was theirs. They didn't need money, but there was gold. Okay, so I'm telling you, like from the very beginning of the Bible, he starts to talk about prosperity. He talks about abundance and he talks about, I am the Lord, your God, who gave you the ability to create wealth. See, we got to get it here and we got to get it here. And then as you start to really move from a place of chasing success and just making a dollar, you're going to move to a place of significance. And it's life-changing. It is life-changing. And so as I think about the instructions that are in here, I think about all of the wisdom that's in this book. It's amazing to me that people will say, well, I've never read it for myself. So I'm going to encourage you today. You can read all the amazing books in the world, and you should, but you should start with this one. Each and every day, dive in and see what it says to you. Because here's what I know. Above all else, the greatest business partner in the world, well, it is Jesus. I'm just going to be honest with you because he goes before us. He surrounds us on all sides, right? We're always protected. There's all the things. And he says he will protect what's ours and rebuke the devourer. So the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He comes so that we could live life and have it more abundantly. So I'm just telling you, he's the greatest business partner I've ever had. And listen, as I think about businesses, I think about all the businesses, the things I've done. I was a waitress. I worked in a funeral home. I was a salon owner. I was a nail technician. I'm a realtor. Like there's a lot of things, direct sales from the time I turned 18. So I've been in all different types of industries and businesses. And you know what? The instructions were always in the book, always. And so I want to encourage you to dive in. I want to encourage you to really start to take it for what it's worth and try to find out 2 to 3 things each and every day that can guide you and lead you. It's amazing when you do it. Now, I'm going to tell you what this moment of significance really is, because I am not a person who is awed by celebrities or sports people or anything else. And we have been blessed and privileged to be able to meet some incredible people who have had amazing accomplishments, especially in the world of sports, and to be able to travel with them and to be able to do private events and things. And from, our US Olympic teams to our NFLs to all the things, we've just really been blessed in that arena, but also in, music and actors, all those. I'm just never like, I don't, here's what I'll tell you, because the book helps me with this, is a man is a man, a woman is a woman. You can admire and respect something that someone's done, but I don't idolize them and I don't put them on a pedestal. So I can have a conversation with the greatest athlete or the next, greatest movie star in the world, just like I'm having one with my friend. Why? Because I value and I honor what they've done, but I'm not going to exalt them and I'm not going to idolize them and I'm not going to put them on a pedestal. And here's why. Because we are all humans. We all are humans. Humans were born with the sinful nature, and people have a tendency to fall or to fail. And then things come crashing down. In fact, I said long, long, long ago, I want to be my children's hero. I want to be the one that they, above all else in this world, they go, if I can be like anyone, I want to be like my mom. And the reason I did that is because, hey, look, we all know when people stumble and fall and the world puts a spotlight on them, then all of a sudden something sinks inside of a human, right? And it could be a pastor, it could be anybody. And so I tell people all the time, just remember, humans are humans and we all fall short. And so we thank God for grace and mercy that's new every day, that we don't have to live a perfect life, but we can strive to be better each and every day and truly be able to become significant to others. And so I never want anyone to say, oh, I idolize Carrie. No. And I never want somebody to say, she's so far out there that she can't talk to me. No, I'm always going to be the last one in the room because I know what it's like to not be able to touch, not be able to feel, not be able, because somebody thinks they're better than you. And I will never be that to anyone. And so reality is this, that's when you start to understand you've been called to be significant in the lives of other people. And it makes a huge difference. And my heart is always going to be, I might not be perfect. I know that because I am human. But at the end of the day, I'm going to strive to be the very best version of me I can be and represent Christ in everything that I do, to be the hands and the feet and to speak life over my life and the life of others. See, I also learned a long time ago, your words really do create your world. And often I hear people that just speak death over their life all day long. They claim disease because man told them they had it. See, they didn't go to the word to see what the truth said, because the truth says, by his stripes you are healed. And so therefore they walk around with this big label, treat me different. And I'm not hurt, to want to say this to hurt anyone. Trust me, I'm just telling you right now that if you get into this book, it says that with your salvation came your healing. Oh, wait, that's a whole different concept, right? And so I've heard man's diagnosis, what they put on me. And I yet said, instead of that, let me go to here as a 15-year-old girl. So here's the reality is that maybe it was, we'll call it my childlike faith that said, wait a second. Doctors declare this, but is this real? Is this truth? Because if so, then I want to believe what it says. And so by God's stripes, I was healed. So just understand that as you really start to let this sink in, there's a lot of things. So I'm going to ask you right now to declare each and every day victory over your life. Speak life. I don't care what doctor's reports say. See, that's man. Go back to what his report says. That's truth. See, some statements may be true, but are they truth? There's a difference. You have to understand that. And so I want to encourage you above all else, speak life over yourself, over your children, over your marriage, over your finances, and start to watch things shift in your world. And so let me talk to you for a moment about the significance piece, because I know that what we do is significant in life. We have been called to help people in this world with their health and their finances, becoming free in all areas, whether that's debt freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, health freedom. Like, we have been called to help set people free. I also know I have been called to help people pull out that assignment within them, whatever it is, the dreams that they've just pushed down because the world says you go to school, you get a good education, you get a good job, and then you spend your whole life just, well, with the job, making money to pay for the house that you don't even have time to enjoy. All the things. We get caught up in the rat race of life, and yet we never get to the dreams inside of us. And the greatest thing that ever happened to me was somebody talked to me about the dreams in my heart. And so I've spent the last 26 years pulling the dreams out of other people. And I'm telling you, it is by far the greatest joy of my life to pull out what's inside of a person, to help them realize their assignment in life, their calling, what it is they were created for. But that takes me working with people, and I love what I do each and every day. But it's not just me, it has to be them, right? They're ready for it, and we work together to accomplish it. But here's the thing, is now I can move them from a place of just chasing the dollar to be able to really make a life of significance. So what we do is so incredibly special. And what we do has allowed us to travel the world, and it's just incredible. There's nothing like it. But we just got home from Denmark yesterday, and this week something inside of me switched. And that was just the conversations that took place. Because remember, it's the books you read, it's the people you meet, and it's the places you go that truly change your life. And so this week, throughout the week, having the conversations, really getting to experience this most incredible place, but not from a place of being a tourist, from a place of being a friend wanting to show us their favorite things and going into all the fine details of planning it. Not just the owner of a company, the CEO, but a friend saying, I want to pour out blessings. And then the final blessing, the last day, really it's hard to comprehend. In fact, every single time I've even thought about it, the final day in Denmark, tears just come to my eyes. And it's hard to even put it into words, but I'm going to try. So stick with me. So it was the Prince of Denmark. So see, I wasn't in awe and shock that I was meeting the prince, but as I shook his hand and had that encounter, it wasn't even then. It was the words he began to speak after, when he began to speak to my heart, because he began to talk about the work that we do and how significant that it is in this world. And that's when it really hit me. When the prince of a country tells you that the work that you do is so significant to humanity, and then begins to just lay it out. That was when I really thought, man, see, I'd heard for months, no eye has seen, no ear has heard. I just kept hearing that over and over in my spirit. And it all came front and center on Friday. I'm just telling you, I can't go into details about it. It was a very high level, high security, no phones for, 8-10 hours. I mean, just one-on-one, and having that and getting that transfer. I will say that transfer of not just the heart and the mind and the words, but the whole package wrapped together of the significance of what we do. And so I'm here to tell you today that it's incredible when you get to play a piece, just a small piece, a part of what God is doing to serve all of humanity. It's empowering nonetheless. And so my heart, as I tell you, is to say, I don't want anybody I know or that ever hears the sound of my voice to miss out on what we are doing, because it's incredibly special. And so to think that the royalty is looking at us and saying, thank you for what you do to serve humanity. I'm telling you, it literally was that transfer of my life elevated to knowing. I already knew, honestly, in my heart, I already knew, but it wasn't because I was awestruck. I'm telling you, it was just because the truth is whenever you see people in power, recognize and honor and elevate you with their words, it just takes your life to another level. Because I am an open book. I pour everything into the people that I get the privilege to work with. And it is an honor to transfer all of that. And so I'm here to tell you today, it is time to take your life from chasing success to the next level of living a life of significance, a life where I know beyond the shadow of a doubt is going forth generation after generation after generation. See, because if you get into the book, it says blessings to 1,000 generations. See, I'm not just thinking about my children and my grandchildren. They're already here. They get me each and every day, right? But the truth is that beyond my grandchildren and their children and their children, see, I want to be a blessing in all ways. I want to not only read these books, but I want to write my own books. See, I want to fill up journal after journal after journal. So someday they'll sit and they'll read about my life. I have way more journals than that right there from over the past 25 years. See, I'm constantly writing. And so one day when my great, 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 great grandchildren pick up a book and go, oh my goodness, they'll get my love for the Lord. They'll get my love for this life. They'll get my love for being able to change the world one person at a time. And they might not ever know me in the flesh, but I will instill in them the same values, the same belief system, the same love, because they'll know that I prayed for them and I believed for them and all the work that I did was for them. And so I want to encourage you today, stop thinking about just you. Stop thinking about maybe just getting by and surviving and what you're able to take care of for your immediate family right now. And I want you to begin to think future generations. I want you to be able to think about significance. See, this morning in church, as our pastor was sharing, I met with him just right before we left for Denmark, and he said he was fixing to go and it was going to graduate his 4,000th pastor. And there's 29 Bible colleges because our church has planted all these Bible colleges and schools and churches in Tanzania. And I don't know if I said that right or not, but it's crazy. And he was talking about all the countries. And he told me, he said, Carrie, we could literally go every 10 miles because these places we go to, they've never heard of Jesus. They've never heard the word of God, right? And he said, and they don't have cars. They don't have modern day everything like we do. We do. And he said, we could go just 10 miles and we could find a whole new group that have never interacted with the people 10 miles down the road. And we could literally start over. And you know what my question was? What does that cost? What does that cost? And then I literally wrote, how many will I build? How many will we build, Rick? How many will we be responsible for? Because, I not only want to build the school and the church, I want to go and I want to teach and I want to share and I want to be significant in their lives. And so I encourage you today, find out what it is that makes your heart go, what will it take? And what can I do? Because I want to be significant. I want to be able to make a difference in the world, not just in my world. And so I hope that encourages you. I hope that you'll start to read books. I hope more than anything, you'll start to read this book because it really does hold all the answers. And I can just tell you right now that the people in these books, almost all of them would give this book the credit for their life and their success. Success leaves clues. I'm just telling you. And so whenever you start to go, okay, what is it? You just got to understand success leaves clues, life leaves clues, and people leave clues. So the books you read, the people you meet, the places you go. I hope you go a lot of places. I think about our life. I think about our ability to step on every continent, to travel the world, to literally go 2 to 3 places a month. And, and I don't say that bragging. I say that because here's what I know is the world is a beautiful place. And, I just kind of like the man who won't read is no different than the man who can't read. Well, the person who doesn't go see the world, I don't know. I feel sorry for them because I want to go and I want to experience God's people everywhere. I want to see different cultures. I want to have experiences. The beauty of this world is breathtaking, but I hope that you don't just see it on TV. I want to take my children, now my grandchildren, my children have been, I want to take my grandchildren places. I want them to see with their own eyes, to have these experiences because it's majestic. It's beautiful. And so I hope this helps you to start just opening your mind and expanding the way you think about life in general, because it is more than just for us to occupy space and breathe air. I'm telling you, there is so much that we get to do if we see that we have been called, we have an assignment, and that we're not just chasing a dollar, but we're literally looking for a way to be significant in the lives of others. And I hope with that my prayer is just that it's always that what I say and do makes a difference for the people who hear it. And, I'm an open book, like I said. So if this resonates with you and you go, hey, I'd love to chat about this, or I'd love to have a conversation, or I'd love to have help trying to figure out what my calling is, reach out to me, connect with me. I'm here. I'm real. I answer the phone. I answer the emails. I respond to the social media. That's me. And I would love to set up a time to be able to help you and to work with you. So I hope this blesses you. I know that my life has been extremely blessed because I choose to speak life. Your words really do create your world. And I hope and pray that your words are creating your world in a very positive, blessed, abundant life. And if not, then you know what? Change the words you speak and you'll start to change the life you live. I hope this adds value. If it does, please share it with someone else. And like I said, I would love to have a conversation with you. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here and willing to help in any way I can. Be blessed.